Yep.
Everyone.
All right. So good morning, everyone. I'm welcome. I'm so happy everyone's here. I'm going to share my screen here.
Not good. It's not good. I'm hearing the meeting is being recorded and I hear a lot of water. Do I push OK?
Yes. All right.
What happened?
Oops, what happened?
Can everyone see my screen?
I have Zoom on there. Meeting, but it's written ID.
But okay, I'm going to stop sharing. It'll be easier. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Give me a sec. It's slow on my end, guys. So sorry.
We have to push OK.
Yes. Because we're recording.
At the top there's a little OK. We push that.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So welcome to today. We have Evelyn from ASEF. I'm sorry for the echo, guys. ASEF Monterrey JS is a nonprofit organization with a mission to educate and inform consumers regarding budget, debts, consumer rights, as well as register rights. So we have budgeting consultations, consumer rights, and financial education. And Evelyn is here to talk to us about protecting information online. I am from the Mass Literacy Council. We're a community-based not-for-profit organization that helps English-speaking adults and older youth in Brome-Missisquoi and Oyamaska improve their literacy skills. Teach One tutoring, prison literacy, family literacy, health digital, and financial literacy, and Skype service. So now I'm going to pass it over to Evelyn. And if everyone could mute their mics, that would be awesome to not have feedback.
How?
Oh, yes. Yes, that's why we have that voice return, yes. So yes, if you could, meanwhile, just does everyone knows how to unlock their microphone and how to lock it? No?
Maybe.
Okay, so you just go below your Zoom Zoom tab, and you have like your little icon of microphone.
I'll show you in a sec.
So it's just important for you to do so when I'm speaking, so we don't have that voice return that is kind of annoying for everyone. Okay, but when I'm asking you a question, you can just unlock it, okay, and then you can answer the question. Okay, perfect. Okay, so Julie, I can share my screen. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen. Does everyone see my screen? You can unlock your microphone.
Yeah.
Yes? Yes, you do? Okay. Okay, perfect. So hi, everyone. My name is Evelyn Auger. I am a budget counselor at SF Monterrey Giest. Today, we will speak about digital security. So today is going to be a pretty interactive presentation. So you're encouraged to ask questions one of the time, please. And if you can just raise your hand with your little tool on the bottom of your tab. Okay, just before you speak. Okay. So yes, when you want to speak, you can just unlock your microphone. So Julie, I have a question for you. Did you receive the survey form I just gave you? Is Julie there? Yes, you do. Okay. Okay. Julie gives a thumbs up. Okay. So if you have times at the end of this presentation, or maybe we can send it to you online. So I would appreciate if you would just evaluate that presentation. Okay, so how did you find the presentation? So it's basically 3 questions. Okay, you don't have much to write, and if you want, you can write comments about that presentation or how I can improve or things like that. Um, so it is useful for me as well. So that's how we're gonna work today for the presentation. As I said to some of you before we start this workshop, today is gonna be very visual, so it's gonna be easy to follow online. So I'm very happy to present you that workshop. So today the objective of that workshop. So first, we will learn how to protect yourself from fraud with good habits. So I will try to touch a little bit about the phones because you had the question about the phones. I'm pretty sure we won't have time to go through all the slides. I selected a lot of slides previously, but I'm pretty sure we will still have to adjust, but that's uh that's the purpose of a giving workshop. And second, we will learn how to keep your data secure. So we will speak about it today. So I would like to know before we start, and you can unlock your microphone if you want to say something. Is there's subject you would like to speak about? I heard phone before the workshop, so security on your phone. Is there's other thing you think about? No? Okay, so we'll go from there. And there's things you would like to speak about, well, we'll just. So first in our agenda today, we will learn how to protect your personal information. So we will speak about what personal information is. Second, we will speak about avoiding scams and ploy. So I will speak a little bit about it. And taking control of your digital life. I think I'm not gonna spend that much time about it. If I have times, maybe I'll speak about it, but we'll see. So briefly, I'll present you, when I said it's gonna be a graphic today, so we'll have the characters that will come in the presentation. So we have Ivy. Ivy's a 19 years old college student studying early childhood education. She wants to move in with her boyfriend and make sure they're sharing responsibility after they graduate. It's just a little script that we have in the presentation. And she's tempted by an offer for fast cash. Juliana is Eve's cousin. She's 24 years old and just finished a bachelor degree in cybersecurity. Eve reached out to her after getting a tempting offer for fast cash. She helps Eve figuring out what to do and share some expertise from her studies. And then we have Simons, that you will see in the script. So Simon is 24 years old and a new friend of Eve's. He's financially comfortable and splits his time between school and work. He's very active on social media. Nope. Okay, I'm just feel like I didn't sorry about that. Okay. Sorry, my bad. Okay, no. Sorry, I thought I did a mistake in the slides, but it's fine. So now we're gonna go to my information, my identity. So I would like to know if you ever entered your birthday on Facebook, use your birthday as your PIN, use the same password twice, or received a phone call or email that's seen the scam. So if you want, you can unlock your microphone if you did or did not do. So is there's any one of you who
Yeah,
entered your yes? Okay. So which one did you did?
well, the one on Facebook,
Uh-huh.
then I changed the year only.
Okay. Perfect. Anyone?
Yes, I've used the same password twice,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes.
I've received phone calls that seemed
Uh-huh.
like scams for sure. I've had many.
Yes. Yes,
That's a
travels
big-
and yeah, travels travels and stuff like that. Yeah. And for the password, I will try to, well, briefly, what you can do, for example, when you want to choose a password, is that you can have a key phrase. So you take the first letter of a phrase that you would remember for a password. For example, you have a password for Videotron, and you have a your key passphrase is like I have to pay my bills every month 2024, and you have a um,
Yeah,
an exclamation dot. Yeah, so that could be your password, your passphrase key. So for example, you would take every letter of the first letter of every word in that sentence, and then that would be your password. So that's an easy way to create a secure password. So just to say like this. Yeah. And you can have, for example, a booklet at home where you have all those passphrase key. So then you can just, for example, highlight the first letter of every word in your phrase, and then you can create a safe password. So that's just the tips like this. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I see many people on Facebook that have their birthday. Now,
Uh-huh.
is that a bad thing or a good thing?
That's something we're gonna go at.
Because I know almost
Yeah.
all my friends that have their birthday on there.
but when you try to change it, it's hard. It doesn't.
Is it? Yeah, I never changed mine. I put it there.
Yeah.
I don't understand
What about a
why
program
change-
called LastPass?
What?
Yeah. Oftentimes it's pretty hard, and Facebook, yeah, they're often reluctant in having you changing your birthday if you put it first. Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
And that's something we're gonna see in this presentation today.
Pass.
Oh, Robert has a cool idea. What's it called, Robert?
LastPass. And it's a software that store all your you store all your passwords in there, and it pops up when
Robert, we can't
Yeah.
hear you well.
you can't hear me. You hear me now?
Yes, it's better.
Okay, so LastPass is an application that you can store all your passwords,
Hmm.
and then you can log in. Because the problem with having a sheet at home, you have to be at home to know where it is. If you're traveling, you don't have that.
Yes, but if you're scammed your phone, well, you remain with the same problem. That's one thing here.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but you could decide, for example, to have a little booklet that you for example, you travel, well, might be easier for women at the at this point to travel like a little booklet or things like that, but for example, you can have like a just little booklet that you could grab what you from place to place, or so yeah. But we're gonna go back to that later on in that presentation. Digital security, it's everyone's business. Then we will see the little graphics. So hey, I need your help. This guy I know can help me make easy money. I just need to give him some of my info. What do you think? Does that sound like a good idea? What kind of info does he want? I think it would be easier to talk in person. Can I come over? So what's up with this opportunity? Actually, I got a message from a new contact on Snapchat. His name is Simons. He told me I just had to give him my bank account information to help him with a transaction. He told me had give me a cut if I helped him out. Oh yeah, if you helped him out, what kind of information? My bank account number, my PIN, and other personal information like my name, address, and date of birth. That way it would be easier for him to use my account for his transaction. And what did he tell you to do that after? I just have to withdraw the money, keep $500 and transfer the rest to him. He swore that there wouldn't be any risk in it for me. I'd just say that my card was lost or stolen and it will be insured. But that's obviously fraud. He's asking you to do something that's totally illegal. Yeah, so that was the little intro for that presentation. We will come back later to ploys and scams. So basically, when we speak about personal information, what do you think is personal information?
Well, you just said your name, your address, your phone number.
That was all personal information. Yes, Eve was willing to give Simons. Yes. So actually, yes. So personal information is information about an individual that can be used to identify them. Okay, so important to remember. So personal information is confidential. Okay, so bearing exception, it can be communicated without the individual's consent. Okay. So here we have a list here of many types of information. So we have, for example, parent's name, mother's maiden name, a spouse name, an employer's name, security question and answers, an IP address, geolocalization, browser's history, fingerprints, face image, voice recording, social insurance number, health insurance number, passport number, driver's license number, name and address, date of birth, ethnicity, physical and mental health condition, bank account number, debit or credit card, personal identification number, your PIN, for example, with your debit card, bank statements, credit reports, spending habits, receipt, email address, landline number, and cell phone number. So in your opinion, which one of them would be personal information? And you can unlock your microphone when you want to speak.
Everything.
You would say everything, okay? Is there someone else who would say otherwise?
I say everything.
Yeah,
You say everything as well, okay?
Mhm.
life. Our history.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a hint. They're not all personal information.
Well, I know, like receipts and, you know, your receipts, like most of it is your bank. Your bank is the most important thing, and your passport.
Yes, passport. Well, you should
Maybe spending habits isn't,
yeah, it's better for marketing, but not necessarily a personal information. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll give you the answers we have here. So for example, we have mother's maiden name because it is often used, for example, for a security question. Because it is used for security question, that's why it would be a personal information. Well, employer's name also because can be used for security question. Name and address, date of birth. Okay, so date of birth would be considered a personal information. Bank account number, a debit or credit card, personal identification number, so your debit card. For the bank statement and things like that, there might be things that might be personal, but for information, for example, you could use it if you wanna have, for example, an apartment and you wanna prove your landlord that you that you can pay for the apartment. So if you don't want to show, for example, your credit scores, you could decide to use something else like your bank statement or other things to demonstrate that you can afford to pay that rent. Okay, so those are the personal information. We also have social insurance number, passport number, and driver's license number. So are you surprised about the results we have here?
No,
No, okay, so you were pretty for sure. You have to be careful because with some of the information we saw, for sure there's some information that if, for example, a scammer has access to this information and for example, this information, well, it can be easier to access other types of information. So you also have to be careful about it for sure. But basically, those are the personal information you have. Okay? Perfect. Now we will speak a little bit about scams and ploy. We're going back with our two characters. Fraud. I didn't think Simon was out to scam me when he asked me for my info on Snapchat. But if he asks you for that stuff, he wants to use it for something. It could be bad news if he gets into your bank account. But I don't have much in my bank account. I don't see what he could do with a few bucks. I'm not the richest girl on the block. He'd be disappointed. You might not be super rich, but your personal information is worth something. In 10 or 15 years, Simon or someone else might still have it. Oh yeah? He'd be able to mess with your bank account. Not great. I guess so. So that was our little intro for fraud. So what is fraud in your opinion? When we speak about fraud, and you can unlock your microphone if you want.
well, it's basically anyone who gets hold of any of your information, they can use it for other things, not necessarily good things. They can steal your identity.
Yes, so it can be used to steal identity.
Mhm.
Yes.
Use your credit cards. You know, empty your bank account. You know, there's a lot.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
and put up something for sale and it's not even there. I mean, you know. I've heard of people actually sending money before they receive something and then they don't
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah, it can be
Like
On
scams.
like Marketplace or
Yeah,
whatever, those type of
that's
things.
exactly what I was about to say. Yes. So marketplace, things like that. Yes. So scams. Okay, so when we speak about frauds, so scams and fraud are dishonest act committed to harm other individuals or take their money and property. Okay, so we're taking your money and property. They are criminal offense. Okay, and then we have the ploys. that I told you we would speak about today. So when we speak about the ploy, what do you think a ploy is?
Well, if someone's trying to sell a house and you think it's real and it's not,
So
they're
it's like
trying
a
to deceive you.
mechanism. Pardon?
They're trying to deceive you.
Yeah, so someone trying to deceive us. Yes. Sorry guys, I'll just plug my computer because I'm low in battery. Just a sec. Sorry guys. Sorry. Hi.
My camera working? Can you see? I guess I could see it here.
Mark, are you able to unlock your microphone?
Mark, you said?
Okay.
Well, that's the name appearing on the.
Right, okay. I'm just,
Is that you?
I guess it's me.
Yes.
Yeah. What's your question, Joyce?
Is everyone able to unlock their microphone because we have a voice return? Okay, thank you. So you told me a ploy is when we try to deceive someone. Okay, so then I'll show you the answers we have. So a ploy is a clever and deceitful plan to get money or information. Okay, so you were right when you were saying it was a way to deceive people. So scammers want you to react. And in your opinion, what would be three common tactics that scammers would use to scam you or use ploys on you? If you want, you can unlock your microphone.
They make it sound some like really good offer, like something really good, and it's
Mm-hmm.
temptation there.
Mm-hmm. So they're appealing to profit.
Mhm.
Yeah. So the appeal to profit. Yes. Other tactics you can think about?
Yeah, telling that my son is in trouble and he needs help immediately.
Mm-hmm. So appealing to problem. Yes, the appeal to problem. Something else can think about?
Sometimes they'll say you gotta be done right away. There's only so many hours or so many days or.
So urgency. Yes, they
and
use
it is-
urgency. Hmm. So actually, you got all of them, but I will still make a quick review of them. So we have urgency. So scammers create a sense of urgency to get you to react quickly without thinking. Okay. Also profit. So for example, fraud artists try to get you to think that they're getting something even though you haven't asked for anything. They lure their victim with money to get their personal information. So they're appealing to profit. And also scammers get their victim to think that there's a problem, and to resolve the issue, they have to disclose their personal information. Okay, so they're appealing to those three criteria. Okay, so we have urgency, profit, and problems. Okay. So then I have a little question for you. And if you want, you can unlock your microphone. So Liam got a survey from his financial institution in his inbox. The email says that they want his help improving the services offered at his branch. The email asks for his credit card number to confirm his identity. Liam's click a link in the same emails and enters his credit card number in the space provided. Is this a good idea?
No.
No. And I'm hearing no, so I feel everyone's agreeing. So yeah, in fact, so the answer would be no. Yeah, so no. Liam is not acting safely, so phishing emails are often made to look like messages from financial institution or established companies. This is a common ploy. So first, scammers, what they will want to do is to get personal information from you, and after that they will create scams to fraud you. So that's why it's important to protect your personal information.
I just want to add in there that these emails look so real. And the only reason why there's one that I knew for sure was wrong was it was with a bank that I didn't even do anything with. But if it wasn't for that, I would have thought it was a real email from them because it looks so accurate.
Yeah, and we will see an example of it later on. And I will give some tips as well when you have an email, what you can do to make sure whether it's real or not. So yeah, sorry. So what phishing means? So when you have, for example, phishing, so phishing means sending mass emails and text messages that looks like they come from a financial institution or established companies. Okay, so they look like real, as Julie said. Okay, so they're so real that you'll probably have the trouble to make the difference between a real email that comes from your institution and one that does not come from it. But I will give you tips for that, as I said. So the goal of phishing is to collect your personal information. Okay. So how does work phishing? So phishing, you might get an email asking you to enter your personal information directly into an email that is linked to a fake website, okay, that will look real, but it is a fake website. So for example, you could receive that email. So you have received a transfer for $367. Canadian Desjardins has flagged this transaction as unclaimed or potentially unusual. To avoid any malicious activity in your account, we are required to freeze it. Okay, so you see the vocabulary looks pretty real. Simply log into your official website to confirm your account details and access your funds. So here we have the address. You see here the appeal to urgency. So if you do not reply to this email within 24 hours, your account may be suspended permanently. Desjardins regularly ensures that your funds are secure and is committed to fraud prevention activities on a monthly basis. So oftentimes they try to comfort people. Okay, so they will use, for example, they will use sentences like that. So for example, we have an example here with Agence du Revenu du Canada. By the way, when you receive communication from from Agence du Revenu du Canada. They will never directly send you a communication about, for example, you received your you receive your for example, a form from from them or things like that. They will always say you received a message on your portal of Agence du Revenu du Canada. So you might receive for example, an email on your personal email saying, "Oh, you received an email from Agence Revenu du Canada," but the real email will always be on your portal in Agence du Revenu du Canada, and it's the same thing for Quebec Revenue. Okay. So that's one thing you can keep in mind, for example, when you receive official communication. So you might get an email asking you to open an attachment or click a link that will install a virus on your device. So it's very important to be careful when you receive a communication you're unsure about, okay? So avoid to click on links from emails you're unsure about. So some good habits you can develop in front of phishing. So for example, you can report fraud, okay? So for example, if you receive, and oftentimes it happens with, for example, Amazon Common, or for example, you can receive text messages that pretend that you received an object from FedEx or things like that, but you order something or you did not. Yeah, and oftentimes, well, you will have a link here, and they will ask you to click on that link. And what you can do, for example, if you have a struggle with Amazon or FedEx or Netflix in this case, would be to contact those institutions directly. Okay. And if you see a link like that, and you say, "Oh, I might really have a problem," it's it's likely. Before clicking on that link, you can contact the information before. So that's one thing you can do. So for example, you can just report that spam. So so here you can sync that message to 7726. Okay. So forward the message to 7726. You will receive an automated response from your telephone provider. So that's one thing you can do. If it text mention a financial institution, forward it to your financial institution security or fraud prevention department. So here we have an example with Desjardins. But often I feel like their emails start with protection, can be like a protection CIBC. Not sure for the other institution, but we have the one here for Desjardins. So you can send it, for example, to protection@desjardins.com. So that's another good thing you can do. And after you did all of it, so you can delete the fraudulent text, okay? So you don't necessarily have to keep it.
Sorry, we have a question.
Yeah.
What does the telephone company do when you report it? Do you know? Like what? And do they all, is this the number that for all companies that we would report?
I know they would investigate on it to know the exact mechanism of what happened after. I'm unsure. It's actually a good question. I could try to get information about it in my further presentation, or maybe if I have the information, I can email you after that presentation. But yeah, for sure they investigate on it. But I'm not sure exactly what they're doing, but it's a great question. I will send you an email if I find the answer. Yeah. So some good question you can ask yourself. For example, was I expecting something from the Canada Revenue Agency? Okay. So is it likely what we're asking me? Would this company really send me an Interact e-transfer? Okay, was the case, for example, during the pandemics with the PCU? Okay, so some scammers, they pretended to be the Canada Revenue Agency and to send the PCU a payment through Interact e-transfer. So the government of Canada will never, okay, send you an Interact e-transfer for things like a prestation like that, okay. So that's another good question you can ask yourself. Do I really know what they'll be using my information for? Okay, so is it information that is relevant for the person to know? Is it something he really needs to have in order to give me the services or offering me the goods he wants me to? For example, your social insurance number. It's an information you should only give to your employer and the government. There's not much people, or if you have, for example, a low income housing, those are the three exception. But otherwise, you should keep that information for yourself. Okay. So, for example, if you you do a purchase on Amazon, okay, you don't have to give your social insurance number. Okay. So here is the tricks I was speaking to you previously. Okay, so for example, when you received an email, okay, and it can look very real. Okay, so if you see a link like that, you can just put your cursor over the link and then you will see the real address, okay? So now we see HTTPS not at all Desjardins, okay? So you can see if the link is the same, okay? So it's a good tips for you to do. And don't click on any links, as I said, okay, unless you're really sure it is really from that institution and so on and so forth. Avoid to open attachment or to download images. Don't allow any images to be displayed. Okay, so that can be a opportunity to install things, software that will take your information. So be careful about it. Avoid to reply to the sender. Sorry?
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
I was told with an email, if I'm not sure, that I should put it in the undesirable first before opening. Do you understand why they say that?
Maybe I would feel like because it can be tricky. There's another thing I didn't say is you have the option to file a complaint with Centre Antifraude du Canada in certain cases. So I don't know if that person told you that. If you want to use like some further mechanism, because we saw in the previous slide the 77726 number. So you have that option. You can write to the protection group of your financial institution.
What I'm saying is, if you're not sure about an email, if you don't recognize where it's coming from, to put it in the indésirable
If that
before.
protects you, like if it's in the bin, will that protect you?
Will that protect you if it's in the?
I don't think
I'm
it
sure I
would.
saw that online.
Do you think that's true, Evelyn? Would that protect you if it's in the bin?
not necessarily open an attachment, but open in the email itself.
But you're still opening the email though.
I agree.
Mm.
That's why I'm asking the question.
But it really depends if you click. I feel like it really depends if you click on links, for example, that would say
Oh, yeah.
you install it in your computer.
Alright.
Mm.
I'll check it out.
Good question.
I'll ask Dr. Gould.
Julie and Mark, are you in the same place?
Yes.
Yes. Could you use, for example, one computer maybe would be better for voice return?
We're all muted, so it should be okay.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, no, but I was just asking because you're in the same place, but it's not a big deal if you wanna have both your computer. Okay. But yeah.
You're frozen, Evelyn. You need to unmute.
Oh,
Hi everyone. Okay. Sorry we had the little problem. Does everyone see me?
yes.
Okay. I will share my screen again. Okay. Okay. Perfect. So, okay, I feel like Mark, you didn't hear my answer at all, eh? Because we had the problem.
I did, and I'm going to check. I'm going to ask ChatGPT about the answers. See what ChatGPT tells me.
Yeah, that
Because
could be
I re- I
another
read it,
option.
and I felt with it.
Or if I have other information, I will write to Julie, and then she can share the information.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good question, but I feel if you don't click on anything, that should be okay. Mm.
If you're
Okay,
not
so
expecting one, don't click on it.
yeah, exactly. Okay. Okay. Then my PowerPoint is okay. And as needed, you can double check with the financial. Okay, sorry, I will just so I don't receive phone calls during our presentation. So as needed, you can double check with the financial institution, organization, or company that appears to have sent emails. So as I said, okay, so it's a good habit to develop. So here we have another example. So you wake up one morning to see that $100 was withdrawn from your account in the middle of the night. So in your opinion, what should you do? And you can unlock your microphone if you want.
Call your bank.
Check with your spouse.
Hmm?
Check with
Calling
your-
your bank?
Yes, sir.
I didn't hear you, Robert.
Check with your spouse.
So you said your spouse. Speak with
Yeah.
your spouse. Speak with your spouse, yes. Yeah. Yeah.
My humor's not great.
Well, if you want at least, yeah, not have the well, not have not amplify your argument with with your wife. So yeah, so some of the things that you can do, for example, if that happens to you, so you can change your password immediately. Contacting your financial institution, very important to do. So that's two things you
Well, it says it's best to avoid opening.
Hmm?
Like it just makes it a bit safer, but it's still not.
It doesn't confirm what I was saying, but it says don't even open the email, you're not sure.
Okay, Mark, did you say something? Oh. Okay. Okay, so I will keep speaking about the phone calls.
Oh, he was saying he looked it up. Give me a sec. It's. Where am I looking? Okay, so Mark looked it up and it said it's best just not to open the emails if you're not sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so pretty what I said. Okay, so yeah, if you don't click on anything, you should be okay.
Not even, we're not talking about an attachment, we're even clicking on an email itself.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not sure, as you
Okay.
say, by putting the cursor over it, you can actually see the real address that's behind an email.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good safety measure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So thank you, Mark, for the information. Yeah. Yeah. So now I'm gonna speak a little bit of phone scams. For example, if you receive a phone scam like that, so you see the guy with his little mustache and glasses. We have another situation here. So John got a call from the government. They said that he hold back taxes. He has to send them money immediately using a prepaid card or money transfer. He threatened him and say that a bailiff will come to his house to seize his property as payment is due for as payment is due. John is worried. His caller ID says Canada Revenue Agency. Should he send the money? And you can unlock, I have a big no on the screen.
Hey, Mark, would you send it?
I don't have any anyway.
Mhm.
I tell them, come ahead.
I actually
Yeah.
know someone that got scanned by doing this.
Mhm.
They
Yeah.
believed it was terrible.
Mhm. Yes, because
If you start talking in French, you'll be surprised how quickly he'll hang up.
Mm. Yeah. No, and yeah, a lot of people got scammed by seeing, for example, Canada Revenue Agency on the ID. So yes, you're right. You're right about that. So obviously, the answer here was no. So the caller is pretending to work for the Canada Revenue Agency and wants personal information or money. So here we saw when I spoke the criteria for fraud. So we had the sentiment of urgency. So it was the same mechanism here. So yeah, and you have to be careful, for example, when you see the ID of an institution on your phone, because it's easy now to have software that can mimicate, for example, real institution or stuff like that. So you have to be careful about it. And when you, for example, communicate with Canada Revenue Agency, one thing you can do, for example, when you call them for example, one thing that is related to your tax report or stuff like that, oftentimes the agent on the phone, he will give you a number, okay? So he will say, for example, oh, my agent number is 11248. And for example, when you receive a call back from that person, if you ask for example, to have a call return or things like that, you can ask the agent from the Canada Revenue Agency to say his agent number. So that's a good tip also. I used it in my personal life, but that's something relevant you can use. Or, for example, when you, well, I feel when you wait for a call, that one might be more relevant. Or, for example, when you receive a call that you're unsure about, you can ask the person, oh, can I call you back? And then you go to pick the number and call back the person. So that's, yeah. Yeah. So some good habits to get. So for example, is the person pretending to be a family friend? So for example, if you would have someone saying, I'm your uncle's cousin best friend, so you could ask, for example, where did our family reunions happen? So that's a good habit to develop. Is the person pretending to work for an organization? So for example, pretending to call from the Canada Cybersecurity Bureau. So for example, you could answer, can you give him back your contact info? I'll call you back in a few minutes. Or with the Canada Revenue Agency. As I said, oftentimes they give a call number attached to every agent. So you can just write it down. And during your next call, you ask the agent before he pursues, what's your agent number? So then you have a validation. Is the person asking to keep your conversation a secret? That should be a big red flag. Okay. So for example, you can't tell anyone about that conversation. Okay. So oftentimes scammers, they will ask for privacy. So as we said, don't trust the number on the caller's ID. Okay, so it's not because you see Canada Revenue Agency that it's really Canada Revenue Agency. Yes, Mark?
What I was going to say is if the call comes in and it says unknown, it's often it's often the hospital or something.
Private, right?
Or private.
Mhm.
It doesn't necessarily mean that it's not one that you should answer.
Yes. And in those occasions, it's very important, for example, to ask validation questions. So for example, if there's every organization works a bit differently. But for example, with as I said, for the Canada Revenue Agency, oftentimes they have like a code attached to every of your agents. So what is your code? If, for example, that information, they have that type of information that only that institution would have. So you can ask question, okay, like reversing the roles for example.
The point I'm making is because I have the call display, when it says unknown, I still will answer because it may well be hospital or otherwise. And to also remember that when you see a number, now with the VoIP, they can imitate any phone number they want. So that is not necessarily, even if it's a number you seem to know or seem local, it may not necessarily be genuine.
And I
oh,
want to point out, I don't know, can you hear me okay, Evelyn?
Yes.
So another scam I feel that I want to mention just in case is sometimes you're reaching out to them. For example, a few years ago, when people were, you know, like the puppy craze and people were getting dogs and whatnot, or if you see on Facebook, someone has a dog for sale super cheap and it's a breeder, and then they ask you to send money. And so that's another thing you have to be very careful with, because yes, it's for a product or for something, but you're not 100% sure if you're sending the money and there's going to be a puppy at the end of that, or you're really going to get the object that you're thinking of buying. So I saw a lot of people during COVID get scammed for that, and it was them who reached out to these people and then they took advantage. So it's not always them reaching out to us. So it's something maybe to keep in mind.
To make sure your supplier is genuine.
Yeah.
Good point, Julie. Yes. Yes.
Right.
I just want to say it's happened to me with the phone. I've gotten calls and they'll say something like, are you the owner of this phone? Or like, are you the am I speaking to the residents of this phone? And I'll ask, who is this? And 9 times out of 10, they hang up. This has happened to me. Because apparently if you were to say yes, it's not a good idea. That's what I've been told, because you're saying yes to some other thing. Often it's better, like you said, to phone them back.
Yeah.
As soon as you start asking questions, they get nervous and then they hang up.
That's what I do. I start asking a few questions and most of the time they hang up.
Yeah.
So then
Is there someone who wants to add something?
I just said, I just hang up.
Okay. Okay.
That's a good idea.
So as I said, you can report fraud to your financial institution, to your local police station, to the Canadian Anti-Fraud Center, as I spoke previously. So now we will see some of money transferring scam that exist. So a money transferring cash is a scam in which an individual agrees to receive money and give it right back to a scammer, as we saw with the little intro with the 2 characters. The victim is promised financial gain for their help. So for example, we have an example here. So hey Heave, easy money if you're serious. It's super straightforward and pays it very well. What do I need to know? I'll transfer you some cash and you'll withdraw it. Keep $500 and give me the rest. Give me the rest straight up. Let's do this. No risk for you either. If anyone asks, say your card was lost or stolen and it's all good. No risk for you either. If anyone asks, say your card was lost or stolen and it's all good. Oh yeah, totally legal, no stress. I just need some of your info, like your account number, PIN, full name, address, birthday, personal information, as we said. So here we'll see a little bit of the anatomy of the scam. So first, we're telling the victim that he can get money quickly and easily. So appealing to profit, as we saw. Second, we promise financial gain with little effort. So it seems very very nice for Eve. And we offer an offer to explain the situation in case of an investigation. So we say, hey, it's no risk. it's secure and things like that. And the situation comes across as easy, credible, legal, and without consequences. And then confidential information is collected. So that's how you could be can be contacted for that type of scams. So here we have, for example, the contact can happen on social media, in persons. So we will ask you to exchange your personal information. It can be also your ATM card, your PIN. There's that type of fraud that happened a lot with ATM cards. For example, people were pretending to be an agent from a financial institution that were coming door to door to see. It was often elderly person, and they were taking their ATM cards, and they were presenting themselves as they called those people and telling them, oh, there was a scam, and oftentimes they use well, the problem as we spoke about. So they call people and say, oh, there was a problem with your account, and we want to protect you from scams. So they come door to door to see those people and take their ATM cards in order to protect them. Okay, so that's one of the scams that happened. Did you hear about other types of scams? You can unlock your microphone if you want.
It happened, my husband put something up for sale, some tires.
Oh, Lucy, you're frozen.
You froze, Lucy.
Says we'll pick him up at such an address, and then he started threatening my husband.
Mm,
He was threatening my husband that he was gonna do this and this and this if he didn't send the tires for. It was ridiculous. He was like telling my husband to send the tires to him, and threats and ridiculous. And he just deleted the guy. But imagine, how stupid is that? It's as if you would do that. Like, you're gonna send the tires before you get the money. He said, come and pick them up.
mhm,
It's the stupid things like that.
mm. Yeah, so that they can be stuff like that on Marketplace and things like that. Yeah. And finally, while the action is always Lucy, wanna add something?
Yes, I wanted to say often they threaten you. They'll try to threaten you or scare you into,
Mm-hmm.
phone call. They have these threats, or like, like you said, so much time, all them kind of things. People don't threaten you if it's legitimate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well said, Lucy. Yeah. Yeah. And what's at the end of it? So it's always depositing a check, transferring money, okay? And we will see the consequences here of transferring money for someone else. So debit cards, still scam. So for example, if a stranger comes up to you and offers you $100 in exchange for your debit cards and PIN. So for example, if you have little money in your bank account, you could think it's a good deal. However, some of the risk attached to it, so you could obviously lose money. So because you gave your ATM cards, or you gave your debit cards to the person, you could be liable for the transaction in your account. So for example, your financial institution could decide to close your account. You could be subject to a police investigation and ends up with a criminal record. Okay. And your credit history could be affected. which would have a negative impact on your future. Okay. There still can be ways, there's still financial institution that covers you about that if you got fraud, but it can be harder. Come to us in SEF if you struggle with something like that, and we can support you through that. But you might have impact on your credit history. Okay, that's what you have to keep in mind. So what time is it? It's okay, it's 1:16. Okay. Do you want to go see other types of scam? You can unlock your microphone if you want.
Other
Yes?
For example, question you're talking earlier about dates on Facebook. Do you know if it's, I know you cannot change the date. Do you know if you can actually remove the date? On purpose, I put the wrong date, but I keep on getting birthday wishes on the wrong day.
Well, at least you have I would say the good problems, because it's not your real birth dates, but yeah, I can understand it can be annoying when you receive a happy birthday when it's not your real birthday. It's something you should really see with Facebook. I'm not sure. I never tried. Actually, I feel I never tried to change my my birthday myself. So
Julie said she'll show me how to remove.
okay. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if you want to stay on security. I have a number of questions of different types. So whether you want to stick to security questions or more general questions is up to you, Evelyn.
Okay. Okay. Because I also have well, security on phone. I know some of you were interested, so it's just for that reason I was asking. But
Okay, continue that. That's
okay,
what
if you want to see scams, okay, and it's gonna give you a hint about the scenarios that could be used by scammers, so that way okay, it's really like very general scenarios, but still it gives us an idea. So okay, I'll go there. So for example, we can have employment scams. Okay, you can find them on Facebook. Yeah, a lot of them now are on Facebook, but it can be elsewhere. So on employment scams, so consultants will post fake jobs and tell applicants to pay upfront for equipment. They'll ask victims to transfer the money to the alleged employer from their bank account. We can have that type of fraud with also people employed to enter data for like for managers or things like that. So for example, they're offering very good wages for low qualified jobs. But it's actually a scams, and you have other you have other type of employment scams like that. So oftentimes we promise you a great benefits. For example, for something that asks low efforts, very good wage, good condition, things like that. So if it looks too good to be real, it might be because it's too good to be real. Okay, so keep it in mind. Okay. And during those employment scans, so the goal might be to ask for personal information. So in order to scam you furthermore. There we go.
I have a question. Considering banking online and the way society is today, is it, anyway, eventually, we probably will have no choice to do everything on the internet because there's less bank tellers, there's like to actually, the reason, like to do it on the phone or in your home computer, what is the
Mhm.
difference? Because like I said earlier, I don't trust using it on my phone so much as I do on my laptop at home.
Um, well, one things you can do is, sorry. One thing you can do if you want to make sure if it's a real company, if it's a company, for example, that is in Quebec, what I would say is that you can do research on the business
Mm.
registry. That can be an idea. Okay, so to see if it's a real company. Okay, if you want to do it only online. So that's one thing you can do. And if you work for a company that is elsewhere, I don't know all the type of registry about businesses, but there's an equivalent. So you have database where businesses are registered. So that can be something great. So yeah, I feel like you could do that, and if, for example, you can see like official document, yeah, if you see some official document during during the interview or things like that. So so I feel like it's one way you could approach it. Does it answer your question?
Awesome. I have another question, like, a lot of people
Mhm.
deal with Amazon, Temu and all that. How safe, because
Mhm.
I don't deal with either one, but apparently a lot of people do. So, how can you
Mhm.
tell if it's actually legit? Because I've never ordered from Amazon, never. And I get emails all the time saying my package is delivered, my packages are on hold. So I always just delete it because I've never.
Mhm.
So
Well,
that obviously proves
Amazon
that somebody's trying to fraud the Amazon. Because I've never ordered from.
Amazon has a strong politics about fraud. So
Yeah.
they have mechanisms and they have politics. And it's something that you can look, for example, if you decide to make an online purchase or to do some of your stuff online. But for example, you could, if you decide to deal with website like Amazon or Temu or things like that, you could decide, for example, I know not every financial institution offer it, but some institution they can offer, for example, prepaid. They can offer the prepaid card with a financial institution. So it's a card that will allow you to make transaction online, but that is not linked with your credit card.
Yeah, that's
So it's the equivalent of yeah, money that you would use in every day. It's not credit. So you could decide, for example, when you go on the type of website to just use that type of card and just put the exact money that is needed for that transaction. And that way it is taken from your bank account, as it would be a debit card.
Yeah, that's a good
So
idea.
that's
Because
pardon?
for example, like I make reservations for a campsite
Mhm.
or a motel and it's probably better to use a prepaid card. Not always necessarily, but I understand what you're
So
saying
that
here.
way, yeah. So it prevent for example the person to who you gave your information to take more money than you allowed that person. Or also You could, for example, when you go on platforms like Amazon or Temu or things like that, you could, for example, just enter your credit card for that transaction and don't save it for further transaction. So that's another option that would be up to you. Yeah, so just don't save your credit card. Just type it again and again. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. So here we have the loan scams. So companies, and that's something we see a lot on internet, and oftentimes when we have problems on our society, that type of scams that can pop up. So companies will guarantee loans to individuals with bad or no credit. So for example, fraud artists will put pressure on victims to pay certain fees before granting the loans. So be careful if we promise you a loan. And it's also good to know that here in Quebec, so if we want a loan to be legal, a company needs to verify your ability to repay that loans. Okay. And there's procedure like that. There's procedure to do around it if a company did not. Okay, in those cases, you can contact SF and we can assist you with that. So if you have a problem in that sense. So other types of scam that we can have, so contest scams. So victims will be contacted about winning a prize. But if they want to get it, they'll need to pay for taxes or fees before delivery. But they never enter the contest. So be careful about it. Ramen scams. Yeah. Yeah, and we see some of them in SF. So victims meet a love interest on social media or dating sites. Often someone they've never seen in person. The object of their affection is also a master manipulator who will ask you for money under various pretexts. And for this one also, it can be someone that is writing to another person for years and years and years without asking money, but for and sometimes like that person never saw even in webcams that that person, and after a couple of years, the scammer behind the screens ask for money. Okay, so so that can be one way that it happens. And sextortion, so someone, for example, will threaten to share a nude photo or video of the victim doesn't send them money or more nudes. Okay. So I'd be curious, did you saw people in your entourage being victims of those kind of scams? Did you saw people around from what we spoke?
I've heard of some people of having
Mm,
been the victims. Actually, it happened to me once myself. The bank actually phoned me, my bank, because somehow my credit card got in from somewhere in another country. So they immediately phoned me and I went right to the bank
mm-hmm,
in Bedford, and it happened. And I was like, how could this possibly? And the answer they gave me was they will type all kinds of passwords until they hit it. They can spend years or months
mm-hmm,
trying. So they told me it's a good idea to change my password. I had to because I'm glad I got the money back. It wasn't a big amount because often they start with a very small amount.
mm-hmm.
This is what it happened to me about 4 years ago. I was shocked. I was like, what? I actually went and phoned my bank personally, like you said earlier, to phone the bank, your institution. But yeah,
Yeah.
it happened to me. It wasn't a big amount, but I was shocked that it happened, that it like, I was wondering
Mhm.
how, and they explained that they'll randomly try over and over and over until they'll hit a password. Is that, wow,
Mhm.
that's a lot of hours. That's
Yeah.
just to say,
But oftentimes it's not exactly like you said, they have
Mm.
software that
yeah,
can
okay,
do it
yeah,
automatically. Yeah, there's additional technology. Yeah,
okay.
that was not there a few years
Yeah.
ago. Yes. Julie, you raised your hand. I
I
think
had, I had an email spam.
you
It
had an
was,
email spam.
it was actually me sending a note to my accounts payable, an invoice from a company that I never heard of. But
Mm-hmm.
they used my name and they used the accounts payable address and then sent it, or I sent it to them. But so I wrote back to the accounts payable and said, no, that this is a scam. But it looked legit,
Mm-hmm.
except I know what I buy. So I know it's not mine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Anyone else who wants to share?
For me, it was Netflix.
Ah.
Went to go and use my Netflix. Well, my daughter went to go and use the Netflix account to watch a show, and all the language was wrong. It was a whole other language I couldn't even understand.
Mm.
And I guess someone from India had hacked in to our account and was using all our stuff.
Mhm.
And I'm one of those people who uses the same password for everything.
Mm.
So I had to redo the whole anyway. So I had to call the company and they had to, I mean, it's not the end of the world. It was just more of a pain in the butt, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. But one of the good things to do, and it's true that says, well, we often comes and we have so much password that it's difficult to all all memorize all of them. So if you want to try the tips I gave you about the key phrase, very good tips to do. And after a couple times, you just remember the phrase, and you like you can oftentimes they ask when you do a password, they ask you to have one capitalized letter and the other the other letters are like normal characters. But if you you do it, and for example, if it's an account that you often use, after a couple times, you can memorize the sentence, and it goes very well to have pretty safe password. Yeah. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
With the new technology today is with your debit cards and your credit cards, they often have just the tap instead of putting the password in or you just tap. You know what I mean by the tap?
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that really good or bad? Some people saying, oh, that's not secure enough. I don't know. I've started using it and it works well because it's so much faster and
Mm-hmm.
easier, but I'm just wondering, is it? Because I started doing that and I'm not, so far
In
so
my
good.
in my experience for that, I feel that the company now with the tap is that as soon as there's an amount that's weird, they lock your card. You know, like an amount or a location that you don't normally go to, they'll lock it. Like my husband around Christmas time, we went somewhere and he purchased something and it was in a place we never go to, and automatically his card stopped working. It was a bit embarrassing for him, but when he called the bank company, they said, oh, we weren't sure because like they just stopped the card because it was such a weird um purchase that they didn't want to take. Like that's, they just automatically do it for certain things now.
Mm-hmm.
The other comment I might make for passwords is now with artificial intelligence, it should be at least 12 letters, numbers, etc. Make sure that otherwise it can take seconds for artificial intelligence to figure out your simple ones. So so they talk 12, maybe 16 even for safety reasons. So your phrase is going to get pretty long if Lynn.
I have a,
Yeah, but when it's relevant phrases to the for example, as I said, the Videotron. Oh, I need to pay my Videotron every ta of the month. So it can be easy phrases. Can be easy phrases to memorize, but that will generate safe passwords. So
I use the phrase, but I use the phrase, but I make sure that I introduce numbers in the phrase. In my case, I say I live at 232 Lakeside, and a number sign to say which apartment, etc. And I actually, sure, the first letter is fine, but I actually use the phrase itself with, so I find that even easier to remember. I put the names of my main password for LastPass. I use the name of my kids, grandkids, with a different symbol in front of each name. So
yeah, but
it's
the idea with when I said with the first letter of each word in the sentence is that when you do so, there's no logical. Well, it's harder for software, even in terms of the logical order. Because it's easier for software to say, oh, like a cat, for example. Okay, so cat. Okay, so cat. For example, the password is lovely cat. So yeah, lovely cat 63. So it's easier for software to think about a word that already makes sense than a bunch of letters.
right.
So that's the point of taking key phrases instead of real phrases.
I have a question.
And on top of it is that when you put personal information in your password, well, if you're getting told that passwords, it's more compromising than if you just took the first letter of every word of one key phrase. Yes,
True.
Lucy?
Yes, I have a question for Julie from her
Uh-huh.
response about the tap. Now, you said the card got blocked, but could that also happen even if you hadn't used the tap and you just put the password in, or would it be just with the tap? I wonder. Does anybody know?
Theoretically, with the tab, what financial institution says is when you use it, or for example, if you're getting fraud, well, they'll reimburse you. Honestly, I tried myself to have it deleted from my account, and I was not even able with my financial institution. If it's safe, it's sure that if someone has your credit card or your debit card, and there's that option. But oftentimes, you have a limit. For example, every purchase under $100, you can use the tab. And when it's over $100,
Yeah,
well,
okay,
you have
that's
to enter
true.
your
Yeah.
password. Yeah. So yeah, there's a certain limitation that is not this way. For sure, if someone has your credit card or your debit cards in the few minutes, well, he will be able to make a lot of purchase. What I could say about it is, well, for example, you can, and if you have a phone, it's easier with the application, the bank application, to look more regularly about your bank statement. So look what type of transaction were made, things like that. So you can make a quicker checkup, I would say. Julie, you want to say something?
I just want to say another thing that
I think people need to be careful of, and it happened to me 3 weeks ago, is always put the website in. Don't put it in Google and then click on it. And if you do, really check that. Do you remember? I don't know, some people know the lock screen, you know, like the lock on the top of the browser. Make sure it's a secure website, because one night because I get a gift card to do a nonprofit activity, and it was a $200 gift card. It's like a Visa Joker. Anyway, the person who sent it to me is in Ontario, and I went to activate it, because you need to activate the Visa card to use it. And I just Googled the Visa Joker card, and then I went on the website to activate it, but it was not a real website. It was a hacking site, and someone stole the information and bought a whole bunch of stuff on Etsy. And what was the other thing? They did e-transfers from it. Anyway, long story short, I'll get the money back. Like, I filled out a form to get the money back, but it will take like 2 months. And I had to prove that the lady did indeed purchase the card. But yeah, so the lady, when I called the company, they said, really don't Google search, put the website directly in the browser. Because when you put it in the Google search and you click on a link, it might be a scam link. So you have to be really careful. So I learned that recently.
Yeah, it's a good point, Julie. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Julie. That's good to know.
Yeah.
I guess we should just throw our computers and phones away. We won't get scammed.
Yep, that's it. No, they'll call us.
Yeah.
Our home, if we have a home call,
Yeah.
phone, they'll call us.
Well, we know that's a
Think
because I never use it.
time is running, so I'm gonna try to speak a little bit about wanted to speak about security on phone, and after that I feel like I'm gonna present the services of SF. So yeah, I'm gonna speak to you about how to protect your phone. Okay. So how to secure your data and devices. So we can, for example, get an option, and sometimes it well, normally it's in your settings, so you can automatically lock your devices after a certain period of time. So so we'll avoid anybody to go on your phone if you forget it somewhere, or you have it stolen. Okay, so it will be harder for other people to scam you through your phone. You can use the fingerprint authentication, as nobody else has the same fingerprint as you. You can set your devices to automatically lock after 5 minutes of inactivity. Okay, so if you go on your settings, you can have it locks after 5 minutes of inactivity, so that will help you. Use a strong PIN with at least 6 digits. Okay, and not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, another digit. Okay, so something more more complicated. You can think about something more graphic if there's a form that is easier for you to remember. Okay, but not something obvious.
What does she mean by form?
Pardon?
What do you mean, Evelyn?
You mean?
Oh, like a shape? A shape?
Yeah, a shape like this.
You can put a shape in,
Yeah.
but not an easy
hitting
one.
certain numbers.
No,
or
the
not.
sum, it's an actual, they're
Mhm.
dots, and you do a shape.
I don't know.
For example, it could be an S, or like an S. So when you
Just
go
doing
on
it on the,
navigation,
Yeah.
numbers. Yeah.
refers
Because some
to an F.
dots, like my husband's was dots,
Mhm,
and he would do this weird.
mhm.
Mhm.
I'm not familiar with the number one, but I do know the dot one.
Mhm. Yeah. Or you can use a complex sequence of digit instead of centered, crisscrossed, or
And
horizontal.
some just
Okay.
have the word like letters, like mine is letters. You can use
Yeah.
letters. You.
Yeah, and you go on the screen and you make like a shape. So it's a good tip you can use.
That's under what setting? Under what setting?
I'd have to show you.
Oh, okay.
Okay. It's important to update your application in operating systems. So by the way, it's important also to have a software on your phone as well. Okay, you can get viruses on your on your phone as well. But when you have, for example, it says, oh, an update is available for your phone. So oftentimes it's the security measures that were up to date. So it's important to make or updates on or application and operating systems. So update on application can be made through Google Play or App Store. So one of them, if you have an intelligent phone. So it's important to do so. Like I said, it's important to install a software on your phone. Well, an antivirus software, so it scans devices for malware and protects online activities. So make sure your online activities is private. A firewall keeps Froster from hacking devices. That can help you to prevent hacking. In terms of wireless networks, as we said, if you use website like your bank, you want to go see your bank account, or you need to see personal information like your file on Canada Revenue Agency or Quebec Revenue, it's important to do so at home. Okay, so you use a private network. Okay, don't use networks in a cafe or in a public place. It's important to do a financial transaction on a private, insecure, wireless networks that requires a password. As I said, it's preferable if you do very, well, the sensitive things like going to see your bank account, Canada Revenue Agencies, things like that at home. If you can't, for somehow reason, make sure it's a private and secure wireless networks, okay? So at least it's the network from a sister or someone, a sister, your mother, someone you can trust, okay? And when you use a public wireless networks, computer or device, it's important for you to clear the memory to erase your personal information. So the history bar when you go in the public place, so it's important to erase it. So there you go about the phone. Did you have question about it? No? Okay. So I'll go on and present you our services in SF. Mark?
I was wondering how to erase the history on the phone. I know how to do it on my computer, but Julie said she'll show me after. So.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So I'll present our services in SF. So as we said previously in the presentation, so one of our main activity in SF is to help people with their budget. Okay, so we can receive you, for example, for appointment. Normally we have 2 hours appointment with people. So during those appointment, we can look at tax credit that you could receive. We can give you tips for you to save. We can give you tips for you to have a better techniques of management of your budget. And we can yeah, tips to save. Can give you a tax report you could have. We can give you references for organization that might helps you in other aspects of your life. So here we go. We also make it the tenants' rights defense. Okay, so if you have problems with your landlord, okay, you can reach us out. And we can give you information about your rights as a tenant. So for example, if you have question about your increase, about your rent, you can contact us. If there's repairs that you want your landlord to do and he does not, you can contact us. We can help you to write a formal notice, and we can assist you with the procedure that might follow in Tribunal Administratif du Logement. We also make consumer rights defense, so we can assist you with your rights about for you as a consumer. So for example, if you have question about a car you have, you think you get scams or whatever, you have repairs to do on your car, and your procedure with the merchant doesn't work, you can reach us out. If you have a problem with your phone as well, or things like that, so you can contact us. We can help you to write a formal notice, and we can assist you with the procedure that might follow to the OPC. Okay. And I'm giving workshop as I'm doing today. Okay, so here are our services in SF. So if you want, I think I didn't put it in the slides. I will, Julie, you have my phone number. Is Julie there?
I'm using
Okay.
Mark's volume so we don't go crazy.
Oh, okay. No,
I just wanted to say thank you very much for coming, Evelyn. It's always a pleasure. And I
Thank you.
wanted to put the feedback form in the chat. So
Okay.
if people could click in their chat, I took what you sent me and I put it on a form doc so people could do it right away and you could get the feedback.
Okay.
So if people could go in their chat and click on the link, there are a few questions just to give Evelyn and I some feedback as to how the course was for you and what we could improve on, and also what you would like in the future.
Mhm.
So,
And Julie, just
it's
because
not a
I
scam. You know
Yeah.
where it's coming
So
from.
where's
I don't
the-
want money.
So where's the chat?
It's right here.
Oh, the chat of the Zoom.
You would click discuter.
Okay, I clicked on chat and it says new messages. Is that right?
Yep.
And then I click on that
And in the
link.
chat, you should see a form.
So now I click on the link.
And it should bring you to the form.
Okay.
I think it just might be you might have to do
Okay.
it from there because I think your
Got
tablet
it.
is a bit old. Could be.
Could be. Courier, Zoom, where's my Zoom?
Okay, thank you, ladies. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hey, Charlene,
Hi.
Bye.
are you on?
Used to.
Oh, right there. So you'd go.
I
chat.
just wanted to mention for the one who wants to have an appointment with me or discuss a matter, Julie, you have my phone number?
Yes, and your email. So
Oh,
if
okay.
anyone wants any more information, I can
Yes,
for sure pass your information online.
perfect. Perfect.
Great. Well, thank you everyone for coming. And I appreciate everyone coming here, even though it's beautiful outside, taking their time out on a sunny day to be with us.
Thank you, everyone, also.
Have a good day.
Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.